So for me, like as a total Haute route noob, like I'm doing Asheville this year, which I'm really excited about. I want to know what like a day in the life of the Haute route is. Like what kind of walk through, and I'm sure it differs between, Asheville versus Alps and stuff, but in general, like a 3-day one, like what does it kind of look like day to day? And like through you mentioned the massage and the food and stuff, but walk me through it.
I'll let Colby answer that, but this is what justifies the registration fee for the Haute route. This is what you're paying for. And go ahead, Colby, because
so assuming you stay at the race hotel, which most people do, and I recommend, unless you happen to have a second home in Asheville or something, it's logistically and also socially, everything just goes smoother and you have a much better experience. So one thing about the Haute route events is they all start pretty early. So if you're a morning person, you're in luck. And if you're not a morning person, if you're a little more on the vampire side of the spectrum, you probably want to start backing your clock up.
That's
your
right.
alarm clock a little bit, especially in the last few weeks before the event.
Yeah.
Typically the events will start sometimes as early as 7, 7:30, sometimes 8. 8's about the latest start for most of them. So you're up, 5, 5:30. You'll go downstairs, have breakfast. All your buddies are there, all your comrades, and you're having breakfast with them and chatting about the day. And then you're back up to the room. You'll pack up your backpack for the day, and you'll pack up your big bag. Both of those are supplied by the race organization, by the way. You get all your bags. It's got your number. It's got your name on it. So then you take those bags down. So in your backpack is your race bag. So that goes in one truck, and then your big duffel, which is huge, by the way. People wonder, like, how am I getting all my stuff in there? It's massive. It just swallows things, and you just chuck stuff in there. Yeah, it is. It's like a hockey bag. You'll drag that down to the luggage transport truck. You'll hand that off to them. It's got your number on it. Boom, off it goes. And that will be waiting for you at the finish at the next hotel. In Asheville, since you stay at the same hotel each day, that won't be the case. But in the event that you're moving hotels, this is how you would do it. And then you'll have your race bag, and your race bag, which is your backpack, that'll have anything you want at the finish village if you don't want to go to your hotel and get stuff. Yeah. So that can be a change of clothes, like a hoodie and a t-shirt and some shorts and some socks and flip-flops, for example. It can be if you want your recovery drink in there. It can be your phone if you don't want to ride with your phone, although there are plenty of chances to stop and take photos with all the rest stops. But some people don't ride with a phone. It could be whatever other goodies you might want post-recovery. If you're taking creatine or whatever special magic powders you got going on there. You can put that stuff in your race bag, and then that's waiting for you right at the finish line. So as soon as you cross the line, you go to the finish line truck, and all the bags are laid out. It's got your name and your number on it. It's super easy to find, super secure. It's transported by the race organization. So then you line up. Usually people are taking photos before the start. You start out. There's never a time section from the beginning. You're always rolling through town, so there's a chance to ride and get warmed up, and then you see the countdown for your first time section. Most of the 3-day events take the form of 2 longer road stages for the standard, and then a time trial. And this year they're introducing the compact format, which would mean instead of about 160K or 100-mile road stages for the first 2 days, you're looking at about 50 or 60 miles, so about 100K. So still quite challenging and still have time sections in them, just not quite as much to bite off.
Yeah.
Right? And then the 3rd day, optionally, you can either participate in the time trial, or you can do a social ride. You can just go ride your bike and ride easy. So there'll be people who do that. And I think that's experimental for this year. We'll see how many people opt to do the TT versus the social rides. You can't really go wrong with it either way, but it's sort of up to you. For example, in Asheville, the TT is 9K uphill. It's going to be about 1,000 feet of climbing. That'll be a solid way. So we're looking at, depending on the grade, maybe 30, 40 minutes worth of work, in a solid way. After 2 back-to-back 100-mile days, that'll be a solid
So the time segments are usually around that 30, 40 minute?
No, not necessarily at all. The time segments can be any length. Depends on the day.
Okay.
We've had time segments as short as 3 or 4K. So it sort of depends on the route that you're looking at for the day, the parcours. In some cases, there are little jaunts between towns where it makes sense for the organizer to put a nice time section. And then the first year in Rockies, we did the staging to Crested Butte. We had a 100K time section.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and that's the one that went over Keebler Pass, which was amazing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Super beautiful. One of the roads I've never ridden. So.
But like in San Francisco, they did Hawk Hill, which is like a 6 or 7 minute section, just from bottom to top.
So there can be,
varies.
And that's part of the strategy of how you want to play out your day. You research the time sections. You say, okay, I know this one, going back to our question earlier about preparation and fitness, can I do it? You know, you got to be a little bit intelligent about how you play your cards during the week. There's some time sections that are going to be monsters. You know, like, okay, I need to be conservative on this section. I'm going to relax a little bit. On the other hand, you know it's a shorter one that suits your abilities a little more. Let's say that you're one of those guys who off the couch has really good 4-minute power. You know you can just kind of thwack it once. You go, I'm going to see what I can do on this Hawk Hill, for example. I'm just going to go for it.
Yep.
Then you go for it. The other thing about Haute Route is you start out with everyone together in a group. Over the course of the day, even though there is some recombobulation after time sections, it's not a 200 rider peloton.
Okay.
And you can...
Right, it's pretty small.
You can
groups.
do whatever you want in between time sections. I mean, there are limits within the day, obviously, but if you want to wait at a time section for the next group back because your friend's in it, or 2 groups back, you can do that.
Yeah.
On the other hand, if you get to a time section with the 3rd group, and the 1st group's been there for 20 minutes and they're just rolling out and you want to go ride with the 1st group, you can do that.
Yeah.
So if you want to start Hawk Hill with the fast guys on the last day, you just make sure you're with them. On the other hand, maybe you want more rabbits to pick off. So there's a lot of strategy to play on those, and then you balance that with your social goals for the day.
And there still is like result sheet and like...
That's the beauty of it. So you can do the time sections in any group you want. You can start them and finish them. It's when you start that time section and finish that time section, your cumulative time for that day. So if there's 6 time sections in one day, for example, all 6 of those times are added up, and that gives you your placing for the day.
Okay, wow.
Right? So it is like a stage race in that sense, but it's not really a race because there's so much more to the event. There's much more culture, more social interaction. Like I said, I mean, I've done 6 and 7 day stage races. I've done 12-day stage races where you ride all week or week plus in the peloton with riders, and you get to know everybody. You get to know the teams and who's good and who's a good climber and who's yells a lot, right? And who's throwing water bottles at the commissars and stuff, and who's grumpy. But you don't ever get to know those people. I've met more people on the routes I've done than in probably the last 10 years of racing, and I've gotten to know them. Like first year in Rockies, I had a conversation with a guy from the UK who's a farmer. And we started talking about organic farming versus conventional farming. Had an hour-long conversation on the way to Berthoud Pass about that. It was super interesting.
Yeah, well, and I think that's a common question. It's kind of come up in the Facebook questions. It's like, and we talked about it a little bit, but just like that seems like that is, I mean, a huge reason why this is so different than a traditional stage race.
Yeah.
Like what's that line cross? Because obviously there's a big price difference between, say, you know, Redlands or Cascade or something like that versus an Haute Route event, but there's so much more to it than the racing. And if you want to be just a pure road racer and you want to, you know, be in that traditional world, then Cascade or Redlands is probably what you want to do. But I think we're starting to see more people want to experience the culture of getting to know people on bikes and sharing those experiences, but in this different way and seeing these beautiful places as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's a different experience on the bike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Haute Route promotes more socialness. Bike racing, you know, I can do a 5-day stage race and not talk to anyone except for like the people that are helping me or my teammates.
Yeah.
The Haute Route, you're gonna make friends, like your farmer guy from the UK. But to get a little bit back to a day in the life, I mean, you come downstairs, everyone is at breakfast, that's included. Then you go back. When you do a stage race, you know, depending on what hotel you stay at or where you stay, you may not see anyone until you get to the start line. It's kind of, you can be lonely out there. But so, you know, then you come to the start line, a day in the life, and, you know, Mavic's there in case you have any trouble. You start off chill. Everything's organized. You got Dave Tao sometimes announcing and, you know, making you up like you're a pro or something. And you roll off easy and you kind of, that's your warm up. You don't have to warm up before these. There's none of that stress of, you know,
Getting on the trainer.
Yeah, getting on the trainer before, because you don't know if the brake's going to go or any of that.
Right.
You know where the time segment is. You warm up until then. And then right after the first time segment, you know, you don't have to stuff your pockets with everything.
Yeah, big difference.
Yeah. How many feed stations are there?
1 million.
Really?
There's one basically.
Yeah.
I've never been in an Haute Route experience where I've been out of food or water.
And it's not just
like
jelly beans and bananas.
No, it's huge. They're stocked with everything. They've got race drink and gels and race food and bars and bananas and peanut butter jellies and
everything you could
want.
Okay.
Yeah, it's fully stocked.
They're always fully stocked. So
yeah.
you're never out of. So that's a big difference too. Like in a 100-mile road race, inevitably everyone has a little bit of an issue unless you're on the most dialed pro team ever. Nearly all amateur riders, even like we talk about events like Cascade or whatever, you do a long road race. Eventually, at some point in the race, you have to make a choice between compromising your race tactics and getting more food or water, right? Or you have to carry enough water and try to carry enough water and food. And in a 100-mile road race in the summer, it's literally impossible to carry enough water. It's impossible.
You have to stop.
In Haute, you're never running on empty. And so that, over the period of that week or those 3 days, that adds up to a lot more effective training because you're fueled, right?
Yeah.
Like
you can do
guys
2
were
water
saying,
bottles per hour.
In the recent Q&A podcast, you were saying, like, you want to stay fueled on the bike, and you never want to try to lose weight while you're training hard.
Right.
Well, this is you don't want to lose weight during a stage race either, ideally.
Yeah.
Right. So this is one of the many ways in which that enables you to perform better.
And when you get done, post-ride meal.
Yeah, just right there.
Right there.
Right there.
Just eat it in your chamois. I mean, it is.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
You can just serve your plate and like, whoa.
It's buffet style, so you
It's
go as many
unlimited,
times.
so I can go.
I
get my money's worth.
Oh, you can eat. Yeah. And then it's like, okay, you can elect to go back to your room and shower and then do your massage, or you can just go straight to your massage.
Yeah.
And then you can go back to your room and like nap or whatever. And then there's the rider briefing early evening, like around dinner time, 10 minutes. They're going to basically walk you through all the logistics and time segments of the next day. They'll let you know about any, parts that you need to be particularly aware of. And that's a day in the life. You go to bed early because you're completely fried.
There's no parties after.
Man, I already.
There are probably some parties.
Yeah.
Well, like a little evening.
This is not pro bike racing where Sunday night is the
party night.
Yeah, party night.
Yeah, but during the ride, also we should mention the marshalling and the Mavic motorcycle. Like
is it a safe experience too? Like it's not closed roads, I'd imagine, but they probably have
the
rolling
roads
enclosure.
are always open, but that's part of the beauty of the event is that the time sections are always on open stretches of road. Okay. So that's done on purpose. That they're done on more remote stretches of road so that the field can go fast, and then of course the field thins out, and then it's not an issue. There are times when the motos will come when the group's a little bunched up and they might kind of herd you over to the side a little bit if there's some traffic coming.
The motos would also put themselves in between the cars and
the riders.
Yeah,
that's common.
Yeah, like it acted as like a safety. It felt super reassuring when a car was coming on a dirt road or just a rural road in Marseille would be right there. And it'd be yes.
You've always got motos floating around, and the course is really well marked, and all that stuff's done. The feed zones are marked really well.
And you're riding amazing roads. I mean, these aren't roads like in a bike
deer
race.
trail road race.
Not deer trail road race.
No offense to the deer trail road race promoters, but I mean, well, for example, Asheville has a part of the stage goes on the Blue Ridge Parkway, and you can of course go ride that on your own anytime you want. But to get an event permitted on Blue Ridge is extremely difficult to do, and Haute managed to do it. Last year, San Fran had a time trial around what's the name of the island?
Antelope Island.
Antelope Island.
We took
which
a
is
ferry.
You have to take a ferry to the island, and then you do this lap around. And that's something you can't normally do. They do exclusive stuff like that all the time. Yeah. So that's part of the
You
charm.
get to ride around the Biltmore Estate?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, which I tried to go running there when I was visiting my grandma last year, and I literally couldn't run past the guard tower. The guy was like, "No, you can't run in here." I was like, "Wait, I can't run through?" Nope. Sorry. You have to he told me I had to drive a car through and then get out and run.
Wow.
It's like, point being is it's exclusive access. You can't ride your bike there at all.
Wow.
Still kicking myself for missing Cross Nationals there a few years ago, but
me too.